What did you say?
She's stirring a lot of pots tonight.
But I have questions.
He looks every bit as tired as you do.
Did you want to call maybe first?
Do you want me to call her first?
The hiking.
Ask her question.
I want so badly to believe that you were right about the shadows, that you can command them at no cost. If you can hide them, you should. Why haven't you been healing people? And why didn't Duncan? Why?
I don't know what Duncan did. Do you know of anyone else that has been healed of the plague by sword or dagger or maul besides you? You are our only lead. I don't know what Duncan did, but he succeeded. If I had a magic healing machine that could go out and heal my country of the plague, do you think I would be sitting here and doing nothing?
But that's what it sounds like you're saying the shadows are.
All we know is that you have the plague. And you're talking to me right now. That's all I know. If these beings here could heal, why haven't they talked to me? Why haven't they offered? Do they know no mercy? Do they have no grace? The Elder Hospitaller is desperate to save Meru's life, as am I. And she has stirred up everything she can tonight to try to accomplish that. And I've done everything she's asked. Meru's right there. The sword lay upon her breast, the dagger laid upon her breast, and it did nothing. But I'm talking to you, and you're alive. Why does it seem so odd that we would try to use the same thing that demonstrated the ability to save your life, to save hers?
You said yourself, this will be civil war.
I'm sorry you have not known this. Or perhaps you have. But we have been in the midst of a civil war for as long as I've been High King. Your father killed my predecessor. I don't have all the information, but I know he killed him. And your father made it really clear to me when he chose me to be High King. Not the Council of Kings, not the century. I was delivered to them as a fait accompli. He chose me to be High King. And he told me that if I departed from his straight and narrow, I would die like Julius did before me. And he's a very convincing man. He is absolutely convinced of his own self-righteousness. And I have no doubt that if I enable Arliss to save her life, he will come to kill me. Do you know what the easiest thing for me to have done tonight was? Not answered my phone. Stayed asleep. And let the morning come. Because in the morning I would still be alive. And your father would have no reason to want to kill me that I know of right now. Instead, I answered. And I'm here. And I've done what I can. There is the very simple possibility, nay, probability, that these weapons were meant to fight one side of a war, not to solve all our problems. I have heard people on the streets yell at me as I am going by that all of this is our fault, that all of this is a judgment of God, the end of the world because the realm is fallen. And that mayhap be true. But you're alive. And maybe the willingness to fight against the plague is what we need right now. And if your father comes to kill me because I helped save the life of a young woman, I will resist him to the best of my ability and likely die. And I'm sure that either I will be thrown out a window or off a ledge, or will be pronounced a villain and judged after the fact. And he will pick the next High King he decides is going to rule the realm. Yes, I don't want to die.
Without having put himself in the shadows. I'm tired. I can go home. We can go home. You told me my uncle's story. I have a story for you, but it's a lot less than that. Do you know why Julius is dead?
I do not.
Because he was a child molester. I cannot answer for my father's actions. All I know is he chose you. He did everything he could to make you king because he considered you worthy of trust. And you probably found that he's never trusted you, haven't you?
I have never felt trusted.
It's because
I felt like I lived with his sword at my throat. Julius was a child molester? Did he have proof? Then he should have been tried. He should have been removed.
he should have been. There's a lot of things that should have been. But my father hasn't trusted anyone.
I wish we lived in a happier realm. The reality that we have feels so broken. And day after day, things happen that make no sense. And I feel like the world has spun out of control. I'm supposed to be the High King. I've heard tales. I've read stories. Our Danielle wielded the sword to fight dark angels and monsters. And Lexander, who was no palate knight, the sword answered him and came to his call. I've read that. But for as long as history has been that I know, the sword has never left the wall, except when I took it down.
Is that this sword, by the way?
Yes?
Did you take it off the wall of the throne room?
That is where it comes from, yes.
So why is it there?
Because even the High King gets questioned when he starts traipsing around in the middle of the night with relics of the realm, don't you know?
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
To the best of my knowledge, I may be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think the first time Lorcris was out of that block since the previous Kinned King, what was it, 300 years ago, stabbed it into that stone and said, "So let it be done," to the one who would break this covenant, was on Man's Day when this girl grabbed it and pulled it out of the stone. I didn't know it could come out. I am at my wit's end. Right now, I just want the morning to come. I want her to wake up. I want this all to be over. And at this rate, Arla should be here any minute.
Sir, if I had any assurance that
And by the way, Arliss, how did you choose to go to the Fortress Palatine? Did you decide to go by walking, horseback ride, or did you decide to take your flitter?
Probably gonna take a horse. It's faster than walking and it allows me to take care of a couple other errands on the way.
Laura,
yes,
you are at the gate when the sound of horse hooves. I can't do it right now. And Arliss, you come to the gate and you see the master mage Laura Justice there. Meru's adopted mom.
Where?
I'm outside the gate.
Why?
Because they escorted me outside the gate.
Which is why I'm trying to call the king to get her back inside.
This has been a lot for my brain to process.
It's not just you, babe.
She's trying to get to her daughter.
Yes.
Yeah,
they
the
should be
only
around.
goal now is to try to get to you.
Just to make sure, just because, you know, you have the occasional dropping of a word over the owl. Is this the same place I'm going, or am I passing by?
You have returned.
Okay.
Well, actually, no, you haven't returned. We got to go to main title, people. We talked for so long that there is no excuse for you not to be back yet.
Yeah.
But I have more questions!
Nope.
Well, we got to get to those questions, but we got to get to those questions on the other side of a main title.